LeBron James basically has a non-existent relationship with Michael Jordan. And as the time has progressed, we see more and more where the media has basically elevated the situation, highlighted it over and over and over again. Every time Michael Jordan speaks, we're always alluded back to why they don't have a relationship, what's going on, and basically, should LeBron James really feel bad about this, that he doesn't have a relationship with one of the players considered the greatest player that ever played the game of basketball? You know, LeBron, basically, the way that he looks at everything, he feels like, I'm just as good. I came in the league as the chosen one. You know, I'm LeBron James. I need to have the same respect that Mike, you give to Kobe. Mike, you give respect to all these other players that are great, you know, before you and after you, but for some reason, you don't want to give me any credit. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to say that I'm good, I'm top 5, I'm the best, you know, one of the best to ever play, et cetera, et cetera. And from Mike's standpoint, he's looking at everything like, you got to show and prove. Just because you come into the league as the best player or considered you're going to be a legend already, you have to show me what it is. And for Mike, 3 rings isn't enough, in his opinion, to say, hey, you're better than this. Because we all know that Mike would still take Kobe over LeBron because Kobe has 5 rings. So basically, Mike is going based off the old school principle, because that's what Mike was judged by when he came in the game, when he was getting knocked out by the Pistons and all those other teams back in the days before, you know, he couldn't get out the first round and stuff like that. People were used to say Mike is an extreme talent, great scorer, but he can't lead a team. So a lot of things that people were saying about LeBron, they were saying about Mike as well. A lot of people don't realize that until, you know, he got Scotty, and then, you know, they finally broke the chains and they, you know, started winning championships. But Mike used to be in the same situation LeBron was in before LeBron went to Miami. Everything started really coming to a head in 2011 when LeBron lost the finals. And LeBron came out with the commercial, "What should I do?"
What should I do? What should I tell you? I am not a role model.
For some reason, and this was very odd to me because the Jordan brand and the Nike brand are they're closely knit. They basically work interchangeably. They work together. Jordan made a response to LeBron's video.
We had destroyed the game. Or maybe you're just making excuses.
And that right there was like, whoa. Like there's some kind of animosity there. There's some kind of weird thing going on there. Or is there? So it was just like, damn, Mike, like you coming at the butt. Everybody applauded Mike. Like, yeah, LeBron is making excuses for not winning. You went to join Miami, you lost, and now you're whining about it. So that was very telling there. It's just like LeBron's just like, look, man, I don't know what I did to you. Like even LeBron says, you know, I met Michael Jordan once or twice. And I just don't know why he doesn't like me. I just don't get it. You know what I'm saying? And here's basically the crux of the issue. I think it's more than just a basketball issue where people are like, well, LeBron is just as good as Mike, and Mike is scared that LeBron surpass his title or whatever the case is. But here's the thing with Mike. Mike basically judges himself by championships. And even he will tell you, Mike has never said, I'm the best player that played the game of basketball.
If you care about being called the greatest basketball player ever, does that matter? Do you want that?
I don't want it in a sense because I think it disrespects Wilt Chamberlain, Jerry West, you know, all the guys that prior to me I never had a chance to play against. You know, what everybody's saying I am, I never had the chance to compete against other legends that was prior to me. When I hear it, I cringe a little bit because, you know, it's a little bit embarrassing because no one knows, you know. I never had the chance, once again, to play against those guys, you know. I would love to have played against them, but I never did, you know. And for you to say that I'm better than him, I mean, it's your opinion. You know, it's their opinion. I accept that as their opinion. If you ask me, I would never say that I'm the greatest player, you know. And that's because I never played against all the people that represented the league prior to me.
I'm telling you right now, he's never said it. He knows people revere him as the best player to ever play the game of basketball, but he's never said it himself. You know, even when people say, well, Bill Russell has 11 rings, Mike concedes that. Yeah, Mike says, Bill has 11 rings, so yeah, he's better than me apparently. Exactly. So Mike never wants to disrespect the past. So the whole rings argument and people saying refute that because Mike, there's people that have more rings than Mike. Mike will say they're better than him. He has no problem. LeBron James and Michael Jordan basically have two separate family styles. And bear with me here. Mike grew up with his dad. Now, everybody that knows when you have a father figure in your life, most father figures are very stern. They're very poignant. They have high standards for their sons and their daughters. And basically, they chew you up and spit you out any minute that they can get. So it's very stern. It's like a lot of very tough love. And for LeBron is coming from a background where he grew up with his mom. And not to say mothers, they're not tough or whatever, what may have you, but they don't have some of the qualities to teach a young boy to become a man the way a man does. Even if it's like a crappy father figure, even in the things he does horribly, the son could find some things to say, okay, I won't do this, But with your mom, it's kind of difficult because she has a natural love, an innate love. Like mothers have a strong love for their children where they could do incredible feats. You ever hear like pregnant women, just finish having a baby, if they get in a car accident, they could push a car. A mother bear, she could fend off a huge grizzly bear when she's defending her cubs. So that's a different kind of love. So LeBron with his mother came from an area of praise. Well, Mike came from an area where his dad was like, okay, that was cool. You could do better than that. Even Shaq, whenever Shaq talks about his stepdad says, hey, why are you shooting jumpers? Do you see Kareem Abdul-Jabbar shooting jumpers? Hey, do you see Wilt Chamberlain? What did Wilt Chamberlain do? He dunks it. So even when Shaq would have good games, his stepdad would come in there with criticism and just a high expectation for his son. So the problem with LeBron that he can't understand is when Mike is like shooting off all these criticisms, it's basically a product of him growing up with his dad where it's just tough love. It's just like, okay, that's cool, but do you do this, that, and the third? And then LeBron's coming from an area where, whenever he did something well in his life, even to this day, with his mom, he got praise. And now he's getting praise from the media. Everything great that he does, he gets praise. He grew up consistently getting praise. And he doesn't understand why somebody that he admires is not willing to give him praise. The key thing here to understand is Michael Jordan is not going out of his way to diss LeBron every single time. Like, people always want to make it more than it is. They're like, well, he's getting at LeBron. He's killing him. But it's not on purpose. It's just his demeanor and how he grew up. And that's why he can relate to Kobe more. Kobe came from a place where he grew up with his dad. His dad was always on top of his head. Like, hey, you might not even make it to the league, son. Like, I'm in the league. I was in the league. You're not even might even be better than me. Like, get out of here. So, what I'm saying? He's not going out of his way. People always ask him about LeBron James. And the thing is, LeBron James is treating like Michael Jordan like a long-lost father figure. Like, hey, dad, talk to me, dad. Hey, dad, talk to me. Like, what I'm saying? Every time Jordan says something, LeBron has to respond. Even when he's like, I'm chasing a ghost of the guy in Chicago. He's talking about Mike. When Mike was talking about his rings argument, he was like, that's stupid. That means Jed Bushler is better than so-and-so and so. It's just like, you don't have to respond to everything that Michael says. And then on top of that, it gets to the point where when you have a kid that has looking for his long-lost dad, if he finally finds him or he can't find him or he sees him somewhere, he's upset. I'm going to do everything to tear down your legacy. And that's what LeBron has basically been doing. We give Mike too much credit. The rings argument is stupid. Like, he's trying to tear down Mike's legacy because he feels slighted, like a child that's looking for a long-lost father figure and finally gets to meet him and he just gets shunned. So LeBron's vision is like, okay, like, you don't respect me, I don't respect you, and in the process, I'm going to show you. So everything LeBron does basically is, I'm going to show you. Even in Charlotte, when the Heat played the Hornets, LeBron gets a fast break, and he stares down Michael Jordan the entire play while he does the dunk. Why don't you just do the dunk? Like that, you know what I'm saying? Stop giving this guy so much power over you. And that's the weird thing. It's just like he's not even your real dad. Like, this shouldn't even go this far. At the end of the day, out of all this, LeBron basically needs to do this. He needs to exercise his demons about this whole Mike thing. Either write him a letter and burn it, don't send it to him, or call him, cuss him out, and say, you know what I'm saying, you never give me respect, etc., etc. But he just needs to get over this. Like, just be himself and don't worry about that. Just worry about his own path. You know, if you want to make a bunch of super teams and try to win titles and consistently be in the playoffs, it is what it is, man. Don't try to tear down the man or send people, you know, hey, LeBron never had to get bounced out the first round, like stupid stuff. Like, you know, you're trying to nitpick him because he's responding to comments that he's just naturally coming at you with criticism, because that's all Mike knows. That's all Mike knows. Mike is from the old school. He knows criticism, people getting at him, people saying he wasn't good enough, etc. LeBron's coming from an angle like, I'm good enough. People been telling me. I got chosen one tatted on me. Like, nobody can tell me nothing. But when finally somebody does, it's a problem. And it just can't be a problem anymore. Don't worry about having a relationship with Michael Jordan. Like, that's my advice to this whole LeBron and everything. Because you can see it bothers him. Like, every time he doesn't win a title, it's more than just him not winning a title. Having 3 titles is great enough. Larry Bird has 3 titles. Larry Bird is considered one of the best to ever play the game basketball, but for some reason, for LeBron, it's more than that. It's just like, okay, that's another chip, and that's another knock on his legacy, because he's trying to compare his legacy to Mike's. And the thing is, everybody has their own legacy.